All right, all right, all right. All right. What's up? How's it going? Hey, it's Monday, the 15th of December. The 15th of December. What, 16 days to go? Okay, all right. 16 days to go. And we'll be in another year. How about that? I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of in a rush, but you ain't never supposed to rush your life away. You ain't never supposed to rush your life away. That's what I was told once. Never rush your life away. So, but I'm really what's up, James? How's it going, man? I want to get into 2026 because I want to see what 2026 brings uh, uh, with with retirements in the political realm. I got a feeling there's quite a few people going to drop out, and I don't know if it's Republican or Democrat. I just want to know if there's going to be some people throwing in the towel in 2026. I just want to see that. Anyway, this evening I'm going to get back into what I was talking about last week, some of it anyway, as far as the Republicans voting for shit that's killing them. They seem to not be able to help themselves. They vote for shit that destroys their own lives and then bitch about it. Okay. Now they can't admit that they do it to themselves, but they spend a lot of time bitching about everything that's gone wrong and constantly believe billionaires when they say, hey, look, you can be just like me. Anyway, also, I'm going to play another little clip from uh, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Um, uh, Again, he had a couple of things that he uses to, yeah, stupid is as stupid does, absolutely. But yeah, he has a couple of ways that he uses to figure out where to find the truth and if something is true. And that's why I was playing. That's why I played that one clip from him last week. What we have to do, we have to be really, really, really on top of one thing moving forward. Moving forward, our media, our mainstream, so to speak, media is not on our side. Okay, they're on the side of money. Just so you know. And the right wing arm of the billionaires is buying up all of the media outlets, the newspapers, the large networks. They intend to control stuff that you see. They intend to control the news that you get. Imagine Fox News being on every channel. That's the way it's going. Even with CBS. Now CBS had some kind of doggone. I don't know if it aired already. I think it aired the other day with Erica. Erica. Now I can't think of his name. Uh, anyway, that guy. That dude's wife. Erica Kirk. Yeah. Um, Supposed to be a series of town hall type events like that. I didn't watch it. I don't know. I think it aired the other day. I'm not sure if it did. If it aired and you saw it, let me know. Um, but imagine why CBS, if they were going to do something like this, the first one is going to be Erica Kirk. That lets you know which way it's going to be going moving forward. Okay. So, but before I get into all of that stuff, let's listen to a couple of more ways Mr. Tyson says he uses to identify for himself whether an opinion has some validity or not. I think he has some good pointers. That's the reason I had to cut it up, because it's a really long thing. But I cut it up. I figured I'd give a little bit to munch on each time we talk. So check it out.
Here's another case. Podcasts are everywhere. There's millions of them. Millions. Star Talk, just one of them. Some podcasts, the host just tries to get really cool people on. And in the interest of views, clickbait, public interest, they'll get someone with a kind of fringy view that's still kind of fun to listen to. Maybe someone got abducted by aliens, and you're listening to them. If the host has insufficient expertise to probe and to inquire and to criticize what they're listening to, yellow flag. If you really like what's being said, find another place to verify that information. Here's another one. When someone is handing you their opinion, yellow flag. If the source, the internet source, tells you how you should feel about information, in that case, they are handing you their opinion on the expectation that it will become your opinion. Instead of finding sources that contain objective information, then you assimilating that, digesting it, and then forming your own opinion, independent of people coming at you with their opinions. It may be that the person says things that resonate with you. I never thought about it that way. I agree with that. That feels good. I don't have a problem with that. But what you're not in control of is what information they're basing their opinion on. And it could be that if you had access to other information, you'd arrive at a different opinion than they did. The internet overflows with people handing you their opinions. And I've never seen that as a healthy landscape on which to glean objective knowledge about this world. Here's how I look at opinions. Have whatever opinion you want, but work really hard to base it on objective truths that you obtain for yourself.
Absolutely. You can have any opinion you want. Try and dig and find out if there's some objectivity to your opinion. Try and find facts that back up your opinion or the opinion of somebody else. You know, I always try and slip this little tidbit in here. Hey, you know, don't take everything I say. Go and dig. And if you can find something to dispute what I'm saying, hey, let's talk about it. Show it to me and we'll talk about it. Okay? That's where I am. That's where I am with this. Okay, so understand, moving forward, it's going to be even harder to find the truth out there. You're going to have to want to dig to make sure you got the truth. I tell you what, so many people, if I had a nickel for the number of people that came to me and said, sent me a link to something, and it's on Facebook. And I go to the link and look at it. A lot of times I don't, because I get a lot of links. So, you know, a lot of times I don't. What's up, Charles? And when I look at the link and it's on Facebook, the first thing I'll do is I'll look up whoever put that up on Facebook. And so many times, if you just look at who put the link up on Facebook, you'll find out that it's something that don't even exist. It's some crazy shit. Like, I wish I could tell y'all how to recognize a bot, but it's really hard to recognize a bot. And if you don't know what a bot is, look it up. B-O-T. There are algorithms out there that are created by people to post stuff on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. You know, you see something on TikTok, it's a good chance it was not a real person that even posted it. Okay? It's a good chance that there was a bot that posted it. Not even a real account, not a real person. We have to be careful. Because we see something that sounds about right and agrees with what we would be thinking, does not mean it is true. I wish I could get that through to the Republicans, because the Republicans fall for all kind of crazy ass shit all day long. Like JFK is coming back and gonna run with Trump the third time. And Italian space lasers having an effect on our elections. You know, you'd be surprised how many people. Oh, I got one for you. Remember the pizza parlor in New Jersey, where Hillary Clinton and Obama was sacrificing babies in the back of the pizza parlor in New Jersey. Remember that one? I'm sure somebody heard that. You know, that was one of the main ones back when Hillary was running. You know, and remember there was a guy that actually this was a real pizza parlor, by the way. This was a real pizza parlor. And a guy, a real Republican, ran up in this joint with his gun, talking about he intended to save some of the children that was being sacrificed in the back of this pizza place. This happened for real. Because he believed this dumb shit he's seeing on Facebook and TikTok, that Hillary and Obama was sacrificing babies and drinking their blood in the back of a pizza joint. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get off of that. The idea is make sure, moving forward, what we are seeing, we have to look and dig to make sure we are seeing the truth. You know? And the way you verify it is you look at stuff that disputes it. Okay, look at something that does not agree with it and compare them. Okay, that's how we do that. I gotta stop for a second though. For those that do DoorDash or order from DoorDash, this was sent to me. My neighbor sent this to me, and this kind of gave me shivers. I've never personally ordered anything on DoorDash, but, you know, because I just haven't. I've never had a need to order anything on DoorDash. But this gave me the shivers. Check it out.
A delivery driver's arrested, accused of spraying an order with pepper spray.
Have you heard about this story? It's gotten a lot of play.
Yeah, it has.
This incident, it was all caught on camera. Micah Knoll spoke with the couple who placed that order.
A typical night for Mark and Mandy Carden turned sour. A delivery driver bringing their food sprays it with an unknown liquid and is caught on camera. The couple only realized something was wrong after taking a bite.
Wife went into the door and got the food and brought it into the house. And I still hadn't went into the kitchen. She was sitting there eating, and all of a sudden she started just coughing and like gasping, she started choking, and then she threw up.
Vanderburgh County Sheriff Noah Robinson says tampering with food in this manner can be considered a level 5 felony.
It's possible to go to prison for this. Now, it depends on the criminal history of the individual involved, and so it's way too soon to be discussing what kind of outcome might be looking at. That might be something later on when it came to if a trial occurred or if a plea was in there to have that discussion. But nonetheless, tampering with somebody's food and deliberately adulterating it is a felony in the state of Indiana.
When Cardin tried to contact the driver, he says he was blocked. Cardin says he went to social media to warn others.
I know how powerful of a tool social media is because you see people go viral for everything. And, you know, I don't want to be famous. This isn't about being famous. This is about protecting people, you know. I mean, this should have never happened.
The driver has been identified as Courtney Stevenson. A news release from the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Office goes on to say she told detectives she used pepper spray not on the food, but to spray a spider she said she saw while making the delivery. At that temperature, outdoor spiders in Indiana are not active and would not be capable of crawling on exposed surfaces. Stevenson is awaiting extradition to Indiana after getting arrested in Kentucky.
I have a lot of friends who've been pepper sprayed for work, maybe working in law enforcement. They say it's one of the worst things to happen. So having it happen unexpectedly, I can't even imagine.
Okay, so she said she was spraying a spider. I tell you what, if you see a spider out there the way it is now, that's one of the baddest spiders I ever seen in my damn life. If you see that spider, I'll tell you what. I was spraying a spider. Yeah. Well, be careful. If you order in DoorDash, the least you can do is watch them when they put it on your steps some kind of way. When they, I understand that they just bring it to your house. Again, I've never had to order DoorDash. How much do you trust people today? How much do you trust people today? That is incredible. And I hope she do get some time for doing that. If she's never been busted for something, she probably not going to get any time for it. They going to slap on the wrist. But that's crazy. That is crazy. I can't imagine. And before I go back into this from last week, there is one other thing I want to show as well. And that is, I don't know how many of you heard about Bennie Thompson, a gentleman from Mississippi. Bennie Thompson is a congressman from Mississippi, and he interviewed a high-level FBI person along with Kristi Noem last week. And I want to show a clip. I want to show a clip of Bennie Thompson catching this high-level FBI dude in the biggest lie you can catch somebody in. Now, I've been on this platform saying this all for a year. For a year, and possibly longer than that, probably into last year, that when you hear them talk about Antifa, Antifa should be all of us. We should all be Antifa, because Antifa literally stands for anti-fascism. Anti-fascism. We should be all anti-fascists. There is no organization of Antifa. There's no president of Antifa. There's no group office of Antifa. There's no headquarters of Antifa. That has been made up by Trump and the right-wing people to give their followers something to be afraid of. There is no such thing as the organization Antifa. That is just a frame of mind. That is something we should all aspire to be, not fascists. Okay? This administration has been literally during those crazy cabinet meetings and any opportunity they can get, they literally just came out saying Antifa is the number one terrorist organization that's facing America today. The number one terrorist organization is Antifa. That's what they've been saying today. That's what they're saying. And they literally have their followers, their supporters, believing that Antifa, there's this big group, this big organization, and terrorists, and Antifa coming after you and all of that. Listen to this questioning from Bennie Thompson on Capitol Hill last week. Check it out.
Recognize the ranking member for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gladstein, will you tell me the organizations that pose on the domestic side, two of the organizations, number one, number two, threat to the homeland at this point?
Can you please clarify, like organizations?
Any domestic terrorist organization that poses a threat to the homeland as we speak.
I'd say the first one, President Trump had just announced executive order domestic terrorist organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What does the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing. Right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Where in the United States does Antifa exist? Yep. If it's a terrorist organization and you've identified it as number one.
We are building out the infrastructure right now.
So what does that mean? We're trying to get the information. You say Antifa is a terrorist organization. Tell us as a committee, how did you come to that? Where do they exist? How many members do they have in the United States as of right now?
Well, that's very fluid. It's ongoing for us to understand that. The same, no different than Al Qaeda and ISIS.
No, I don't want you. I'll ask one question, sir. I just want you to tell us. If you said Antifa is the number one domestic terrorist organization operating in the United States, I just need to know where they are, how many people. I don't want a name. I don't want anything like that. Just how many people have you identified with the FBI that Antifa is made of?
Well, the investigations are active.
So you wouldn't come to this committee and say something you can't prove, I know. I know you wouldn't do that. But you did.
Now, that's how you catch a lying motherfucker. Okay? That's how you catch somebody lying. By making them focus on one question. No, you can't get past it with this gobbledygook. Let's stay on one question, one subject, answer this question. That is, he literally walked this man into a noose, and the man put the noose on his own neck and jumped off the horse. Okay? That's how you catch somebody lying. Kudos to Bennie Thompson for that brilliant questioning of this high-ranking FBI official who is there on Capitol Hill lying. He is literally lying about Antifa being the biggest threat to America and all of that bullshit. That is an absolute lie. There's no such thing as Antifa. There's no organization called Antifa. None. But Trump and these people are steady putting it out there that Antifa, the group Antifa, is the biggest threat to our country. That is just the biggest shame of all, that they just putting that lie out there and people are constantly falling for that lie. And there ain't nothing you can do. Ain't nothing you can do because people falling for the lie. They falling for the okie doke. That's the way it is. And, you know, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And the more that when we're out and about and you hear somebody say something about Antifa, the one thing you can ask them when you hear somebody say something bad about Antifa, when you hear somebody say something bad about Antifa, ask them yourself, are you pro-fascist? Are you pro-fascism? Are you pro-fascism? Well, the first thing you have to understand is what fascism is. Fascism is when big business and government get together to control the people. Does that sound familiar? Fascism is when corporate America and the president get together to control the people. When big business and government get together, when they start doing deals together, like us having a seat on U.S. Steel's board and having 10% of the NVIDIA chips and 25% of the money coming from an NVIDIA deal. When the government, is getting money from business deals made between businesses, that's fascism. When you have an inauguration and between the president and the Congress is a layer of billionaires at the inauguration. If you have a layer of billionaires between the president who's been inaugurated and Congress, that's fascism. Okay, just so you know what fascism is. Now, if you good with that, you are pro-fascism. If you think that's fucked up, you are anti-fascism, or anti-fascist, or Antifa. So, I'm proud to say I qualify as Antifa. Okay, I am anti-fascist. Everyone in America should be Antifa. That is who we fought during World War II. You know that guy with the little mustache? That was the fascist. Okay? So, There is no organization that is just something to make people afraid. That's to make you scared to say you're anti-fascist. I'm not afraid to say I'm anti-fascist, because I am. That's to make you afraid to say it. See? And that's to make those that follow them afraid of something. There is something coming. Ooh. There is something around the corner. There's a anti-fascist guy around the corner that's going to come get me. Moving right along. Now, last week I was talking about how the Republicans constantly vote for stuff and people who are completely against them. Completely against them. Well, the next big thing that's going on right now, the thing that is driving the economy right now, is AI. And AI, trust me when I tell you, the billionaires are not building out this AI for you and me. Understand that. Please understand that. The billionaires are not doing this for the benefit of you and me. Check this out. They are building data centers that are so big right now that are ruining the water table in people's communities, in counties all across this country. And the Republicans are just voting. The Republican legislatures in states are just allowing these companies to come in because federal funding, remember Doge cut off a whole lot of federal funding, and communities all over this country, they just try and, if you promise them 2 jobs, they'll let you come in and ruin the water, the air, anything. Just bring us 2 jobs. Check this out. Their data centers, these data centers are huge that's coming. And all across this land, the Republicans are letting them in. And trust me when I tell you, it's not for you and me. Check this out.
Data centers are setting up shops in small towns across America. The rapid growth causing concerns from the locals, especially in Newton County, Georgia, which has become an AI hotspot. Fox Business' Ashley Webster is live from Social Circle, Georgia this morning, home to one of Meta's data centers. Ashley, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you, Maria. Look, if you use Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or any of the platforms that Meta offers, your usage could very well be funneled through this giant data center behind me. We're in Newton County, as you pointed out. We're about less than an hour east of Atlanta, and Meta here operates a huge campus, 1,000 acres. It contains 8 giant buildings, each 4 football fields long, and of course they contain row upon row upon row of servers, all working at hyperspeed 24 hours a day. It is nothing less than a digital gold rush spreading across the country.
I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and I've never seen the focus on data centers like we have now. I love that. It's innovative. There's so much good that we can do.
Well, you know what? They're certainly changing communities and landscapes, and supporters say, look, they provide good-paying jobs. They expand the tax base, which is good for revenue, and they also give a boost to local businesses. But not everyone is happy. Not far from the Meta facility here, Amazon is building another data center on a 500-acre parcel of land that critics and local residents claim has been green-lighted without proper planning.
If I could say something to the whole nation, it would be, think it through, right? Plan it, right? Don't just stick them in every cow pasture that goes up for sale, right? Because somebody could get their money for their land.
Well, we reached out to Amazon for comment. We're still waiting for a reply. But while Meta has been very well received here, this isn't an industrial park, not so much out in the countryside. The prospect of a high-tech land rush is cause for concern. But city and county leaders say, look, with proper planning, the upside is just too good to turn.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Jenny Runovich in for Scott. Well, tonight, Amazon announced they're putting down some big money here in the Hoosier State. $15 billion to be invested in northern Indiana for, you guessed it, data centers. But as our Alex Almanza reports, the exact location is still a mystery.
It's a $15 billion promise with a big question mark attached to it. Where is Amazon putting their new data center campuses? In a press release on Monday, Amazon did not give specifics on where they're going to build, except that it would be in northern Indiana. Governor Mike Braun says this project will create thousands of jobs while, quote, supporting thousands more across the region, further strengthening Indiana's position in energy dominance and economic leadership. St. Joseph County Council President Dan Schetzel confirms to 13 News the project isn't being brought to his county.
Watch what's happened here, learn from it, work with your local officials.
Schetzel represents a district that is already home to one of the world's largest Amazon data centers, and there's more pressure coming. Another developer is now pushing to build even more data center space on top of that. But this year, that new Carlisle project hit a wall. An unfavorable recommendation from the Redevelopment Commission. Schetzel says he expects the county council to reject it too.
We really have to be careful because I think the council as a whole understands we really need to slow down and just digest what we've already approved.
As for Amazon's new $15 billion project, the tech giant says it will pay to build everything required to power it. The new plants, the new transmission lines, all of it. NIPSCO, the utility, plans to add up to 3 gigawatts of new power generation. Amazon is expected to use about 2.4 gigawatts of that. Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Right now, it is unclear if that more than half of a gigawatt power NIPSCO generates will go back into the grid for everyone else to use. Meanwhile, Amazon did not answer Alex's questions as to the timeline of this project. Of course, we'll keep you posted.
Right. So, check that out. Data centers, not to mention the increase on the electric bills. Yeah. Increase on electric bills big time. Absolutely. And trust me, if NIPSCO saying that they're going to build out more electricity, trust me, it's going to come at a cost to us. Hey, what's happening, Vanessa? How you doing? I tell you what, it is going to cost us big time. And I was curious as to where that was going to be, and I was able to find out exactly where that was going to be. And you are going to be surprised to find out where that's going to be. I thought, you gotta be kidding. But nope, they are moving forward with their plans for Indiana big time. Absolutely. So check this out.
Them if you care to look.
These are just 2 of the data center battles taking place in Indiana.
What we're seeing in Indiana is a lot of data center development, over 30, maybe over 40 in some stage of development throughout our state for a variety of reasons.
Meta, Google, Microsoft, CoreWeave, and QTS, owned by Blackstone, are in the state too. I wanted to know why Indiana became such a hotspot for big tech and how billionaires and the shell corporations they hide behind seem to be winning so big in the Hoosier State.
Number one, we have an incredibly supportive policy at the state level. We have leadership, we have a supermajority, we have regulators who are all very, very supportive of attracting business in the state of Indiana.
Republicans hold 40 out of 50 seats in the state Senate and 70 out of 100 seats in the Indiana House of Representatives, including Senators Eric Koch and Edmund Soliday, who authored a bill allowing utility companies to pass along some of the cost of small modular nuclear reactors to its customers and keep coal plants online, all in support of AI data centers. We reached out to both lawmakers to ask for an on-camera interview, but received no response. But it was another bill, House Bill 1405, introduced in 2019 by Representative Martin Carbo, that laid the groundwork for the data center boom, providing sales and use tax exemptions for equipment purchased to build. And there's another reason why Indiana's towns and cities are feeling pressure to welcome data centers.
They're losing federal funding for certain programs and certain support. They're losing state funding for certain programs and certain support. Some of these local leaders are very concerned about the financial health and well-being of their local communities.
But many residents and community organizers are adamant that data centers are not the answer to their economic woes. Organizers canvassed Michigan City neighborhoods just before the City Council was about to meet for a final vote.
There are 9 counselors, so we are trying to play the numbers game and work as hard as we can, even within these final hours. This community has long suffered the impacts of coal pollution, of being able to endure a century of this coal plant in their backyards.
Ashley Williams lives in Michigan City and runs a grassroots organization focused on a transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Long before she found out about the secretive data center project this summer, she's been fighting to shut down the coal-fired power plant owned by the monopoly electric utility company called NIPSCO, which she fears could end up staying open to support data center energy demands.
We just really don't know whether or not the coal plant will ultimately come down, or if it does, it's just going to be a reinvention of a different injustice at that site or across our community.
And the energy monopoly is in the midst of an effort to create a spin-off sister company called GenCo to put all data center load growth under a new separate company.
As we covered before, you are president of both NIPSCO and GenCo, as well as CEO, correct? And COO.
That's correct.
Were you involved in the decision to create GenCo?
I was.
But consumer advocates warn GenCo is just a way to have an unregulated cash cow energy company with no plans for cost control, cost allocation, or guarantees for how it will ultimately impact residential customers.
NIPSCO said that they do not intend to raise rates. Can ratepayers trust that with a deal like this, their rates aren't going to go up?
Absolutely not. No, you'll always hear when these proposals are presented to the public, don't worry, they'll pay their fair share. It's very easy for a utility CEO or utility representative to say, trust us, nothing to see here. Your bills aren't going up.
If people choose to look to the actual people living near them and stop just trusting like the developers and the big corporations coming in here, you could actually go talk to the people living there.
You better not come here and pollute our children, our homeowners, stomp all over our small businesses and think that there won't be backlash. Even if they vote this through tonight, it's just the beginning of a fight, and people are not going to stop here.
I'm standing inside the City Hall in Michigan City, Indiana right now, and you can see that so many people have come out here for this vote tonight that they've actually had to put chairs outside of the City Hall Council chamber room because of the overflow. People are signing up to be able to speak about their feelings on this project, whether they're for or against it, and we're going to find out tonight whether this project is going to get those tax breaks or not.
And if you pass this resolution, I can promise you afterwards, it's that private equity that will tell you what it is you're allowed to vote on. They want to own all of us through you, and the decision as to whether or not they're going to be able to do that happens here, it happens now, it happens with you. For the love of God, do your duty.
The time for voting finally came.
May I entertain a motion for approval?
Dr. Kaur.
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice.
Aye.
And Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
We have 7 in favor and 2 opposed.
And this resolution has passed.
In a 7-2 decision, the City Council voted to grant the data center tax abatements for the next 10 years in exchange for 30 full-time jobs and some $26 million in economic development incentives over the next 40 years. Another big win for tech companies who seem to be getting their way in Indiana.
We were not shocked by.
That's the whole crux of the whole thing. It's all about they're going to get 30 jobs. You know, you give away your whole tax base. How do you give somebody 10 years tax abatement? Okay. You give them 10 years tax abatement. You give them tax break on buying the equipment that they have to buy to build their facilities. Why do the taxpayer have to give so much for somebody else to build their own shit? I'm not giving you a tax break because you have to buy equipment for your company. I'm not giving you a tax break on the use of that equipment. And see, that's the problem. Every one of these communities feel like they gotta give so much for a company that wants to come in your community and do something. Hey, you want to come in this community, come in the community, pay all your taxes, hire the people, do what you got to do. But you get no breaks for coming here. Go somewhere else if you need breaks. Now, from what I've been seeing, these data centers, the first thing they do, when they come in to build a data center, guess what? One of the first things they have to do. Okay, time's up. One of the first things they have to do when they get started building this shit, they got to pump the groundwater out. That's the freshwater table underneath you and me. That's the freshwater table that we get water from. Okay? And they have to pump that out. And when they pump that out, guess what? You know, when they start pumping this shit, guess where they're gonna get the EPA to suspend rules so they can pump it where? Into Lake Michigan. And they're gonna start ruining Lake Michigan again. Yeah, 30 whole jobs. You heard that right, Charles. 30 whole jobs. They about to ruin the hell out of some shit. Now check this out. Now NIPSCO, now get this. Get this. The guy at the top of NIPSCO is the president, the CEO, and the COO. You know, it's funny just to hear that. You got the chief executive officer, president, and chief operating officer all rolled up in one guy. And that guy is making a deal to spin off another company called Genco, where he will be chief executive officer, president, and chief operating officer of that company. That's some incredible shit. That's some incredible shit. And the board members took the money. Yeah, I'm sure it was some whining and dining done and some envelopes passed out, some college tuition paid, it's politics. It's politics. Now, I tell you what, those people sitting there should have been telling them, well, you'll just be out of your job the next time it's come time to vote. That's how you fix that. You fix that by voting them bastards out and organizing and doing it. See, that's what I would have been telling them. Hey, you don't have to worry about being on the council next time around. You can be out. But that's an example of voting for people who gonna turn their back on you when time comes to protect the actual people that did the voting. It's a damn shame. I tell you what, it's a damn shame. And they putting that shit all over Indiana. Indiana is overflowing with it. Now, you know what? They're building something out here by me. I got to find out what that is. I think that's industrial, going to be industrial businesses. I don't think those are data centers. But I'm going to have a look just to find out. But it looks more like wholesale and retail kind of things going on in that place. I'm going to find out. But all over Indiana, there's 30 or 40 of these huge data centers planned in Indiana. These data centers are huge, and they ruin the groundwater, and they ruin the tax base. They come in and they pay very little in taxes. And that's the problem. The problem is that is where all of our roads, our schools, our infrastructure money comes from. It's the tax base. You can't give these corporations the opportunity to operate with no tax. Meanwhile, they tax the shit out of you and me. And we got to beg a bastard to get a street paved. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And these people, and it's just interesting that 20 Republicans got a good taste. They got a good taste of how this administration will treat even their own people. These Republicans need to start understanding that these people will ruin us all. They will ruin us all. And they just don't get it. They just don't get it. They go stand in the poll, make their vote for somebody, and then come out and watch all the shit come crumbling down around them, and then start bitching. Oh, Antifa. Here comes Antifa. Or this one right here. Y'all remember this one. Obama coming to get your gun. That one used to get to me. Obama coming to get your gun. And Obama never, ever uttered one word about taking guns from Americans. Not one time. But that's what they said. They made it up. Obama coming to get your gun. And that went through MAGA world like wildfire. They so stupid, all you have to do is give them something to be afraid of, and they'll vote for you every time. Just keep making them afraid. Works every time. So, anywho, I'm going to end that right there. Maybe at some point, at some time, somewhere, and it seems to be kind of taking place right about now. because, and I'm going to look this up for Wednesday. Right now, the women in the Republican Party, the women that are Congress people in the Republican Party, they are starting to get the picture. See, Nancy Mace, Elise Stefanik, Marjorie Taylor Greene, those women are starting to get the picture because they're turning on Mike Johnson and they're turning on Trump. Because guess what? The Charlie Kirks and the J.D. Vances, they seem to be starting to understand these guys are out there saying it out loud that they don't think women should hold any office anywhere. See, they haven't only been racist as hell. They've been misogynistic as hell. These people are out there every day dogging women out, and those women are starting to get it. They're starting to say, wait a minute, he's talking about me, and he's saying it to my face. This may be the beginning that we've been looking for. And one note before I do get out of here. I'm sure everybody's heard about Rob Reiner. I'm feeling really bad about Rob Reiner. The dude was a really good director and good actor. He was a stand-up guy. Of course, this administration had to come out and say some really bad shit about him. Of course, because Rob Reiner wasn't afraid of this jackass. So, but my heart goes out to the daughter who's left. You know, she's got to be broken up out there. Felt really bad to hear that today. So, heart out to the family. But on that note, we may be turning at a turning point where, because there are a lot of MAGA influencers that are turning on this administration. And they are starting, I believe, to see just how in bed with business government has gotten. And this is the makeup of fascism. And I think they're starting to see it. If this is the case, it's a good thing. Maybe we got a chance. We'll find out. On that note, I'm going to call it good. I think I'm missing a football game again. Doggone it. I forgot. Again. Hopefully it's a good game going on. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. I appreciate y'all as usual. Like that guy says, stay prayed up. Everybody. I appreciate y'all. Take it easy. I'm out.